everyone! Today we're going to talk about the portfolio assignment. So for this assignment, what you're going to do is create 2 PowerPoint slides that demonstrate how you have achieved the outcomes for this class. So what I'm going to start with is the assignment criteria sheet that is in Canvas Module 11. And you can see that this assignment is worth 20 points total, 10 points for each slide. So like I said, you're going to create 2 slides, and the first slide is going to be geared towards the program outcome, either outcome 1 or outcome 3. And both of those outcomes are associated with this class. And then your second slide is going to be geared toward the core ability outcome, and the core ability outcome is stated here. Now another place that you can find this information is in your syllabus. So I'm going to open up the syllabus now and show you more detailed information about outcome 1, outcome 3, and the core ability outcome. Alright, so let's start with outcome 1. So here we are on page 4 of your syllabus. Let's make it more clear to see. Okay, so on the bottom of page 4 here, you can see the degree level outcomes. And the first one is outcome 1, promoting child development and learning. And here's a description of the outcome, and then 3 key elements of outcome 1. So take some time and read through these and decide, is there an assignment for this class that matches with that outcome? Now every assignment that you guys have done for this class, you've had an assignment criteria sheet, which is that Word document that describes all the different things you do for the assignment. On that sheet, I always print which outcomes are met with the assignment. So every assignment that you guys have done have met some sort of criteria for the class, some sort of outcome for the class. So that can help guide you. Okay, and then there's also outcome 3. And the reason why they're not 1 and 2 is because these are the program outcomes for ECE, for early childhood education. So that's why we just have 1 and 3 are associated with child development, and other outcomes are associated with different classes. So outcome 3 is observing, documenting, and assessing to support young children and families. Here's the description of the outcome, and then again below the key elements of the outcome. And then we also have a fundamental area of knowledge and a core abilities outcome. You are only concerned with the core abilities outcome for your second slide. So here's the description of the core abilities outcome, and then I want you to think about an assignment that you did that meets the core abilities outcome. And again, those assignment criteria sheets that you had for every assignment have that information on them. Okay, so let's revisit that assignment criteria sheet for the portfolio. Okay, so we've looked at the outcomes and we've looked at the core ability, and you see where to find that in your syllabus. Now let's look at the criteria for this assignment. So each slide should have an artifact from class. So you can take a picture of something that you've done, you can take a screenshot of an assignment that you've done, you can use a picture that might highlight something that you've done. So imagine if you were going to use the Babies film discussion, you might include the cover of the film Babies. That would be acceptable. Then you're also going to include the name of the program outcome or the core ability, depending on which slide you're on. And then you're going to include a text box or more describing the rationale for how the artifact supports the outcome. So the artifact in this case is your assignment. So you're going to think about how that assignment met the outcome requirements and how it's going to impact your practice. So you should really talk about these meaningful connections here. This is where you really need to connect the work that you've done with the outcome and how you're going to use it in your practice. That's key. Then you're going to use the notes box of PowerPoint, and I'll show you that in a minute. And you're going to create a script or a narrative of what you would say if you were presenting it. So what did you learn? How are you going to apply it? You should also take the opportunity to name key theorists, skills, and terminology. So bringing in stuff that we talked about or that you learned in class. This is where you can bring in some of those technical terms that we talked about in lecture or that you read about in the text. And then finally, you want to make sure that you are being professional about this. So that means neatness. It says typed, but of course it's going to be typed because you are submitting it through PowerPoint. The layout should be nice. You shouldn't have any grammar or spelling errors. Proofread it. And then down below is the grading criteria for the slide. So the grading criteria is the same for both slides. For the program outcome slide, 10 is meets or exceeds expectations, 5 is approaching expectations, and 1 is you're not meeting the standard. And then it's the same grading criteria for the core ability outcome slide. Okay, now what I have for you are a couple of examples from past students who have completed this assignment in other classes. So let's take a look at those. All right, so this one is for a student who took math and science. And in that class, you'll see outcome 5 was associated with that class, using content knowledge to build meaningful curriculum. So here the student has included a curriculum assignment that they did related to the ocean. And underneath, they've listed the description of the outcome and then how the outcome was met using the assignment. And let me pull this down so you can see the rest of it. Okay, and then here the student has written some text about what their script is going to be. So what they'll say when they present it, or if they were to present it. And let's look at another one. Okay, so this is a book. So this was a book that was read in math and science class. And this is for the core ability outcome, and for that class the core ability was responsibility. And here's the description of the core ability outcome. Here's what the student did to meet the outcome. So it's teaching about nature deficit disorder and thinking about Jean Piaget and how that connects, concrete real world experiences and how that connects to nature to create a curriculum. And then how this person is going to bring it into the practice, bring it into their practice. So here, this is a statement about bringing it into the practice. I strive to educate parents, peers, and coworkers about the impacts of our choices and actions in both the environment and our children, and encourage contributions and ideas towards sustainable systems. So here, this person is saying, from all the stuff I learned, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to educate parents, peers, and coworkers. And then again, down below in the notes section, and if you're not familiar with this, you can just take the arrow and pull it up. What she's going to say if she were to present this slide. Okay, let's look at a couple more. So here's one that comes from music and movement class. And for this class, they also had outcome 5 was associated with this class. And then the description of the outcome, and then these connections. So what she did or what he did, whatever the student did in the class that met the outcome. I think if I were looking at this, I think this could be a little bit more specific. Age-appropriate movements, movement enhances learning. Maybe what was the movement all about? I would question that. Okay, so then here the student has completed the script of what's going to be said. So all the information is included, and a nice photo of the children as well. Let's look at one more, and this one's from music again. So the core abilities outcome was multiculturalism for this class. And here's the description. And then here are 3 different instruments that we can assume were used in that class. And I guess if we read the text, it says, I learned how to introduce students to different cultures through music. The student learned about instruments from all over the world and how to use them as a focus piece to draw in children's attention. Okay. So they introduced children to a variety of the cultures of the world. All right, so this is what the student did for this one. All right, so I hope these 2 examples help guide you when you start doing your portfolio work. And I think this is going to be a really beneficial assignment because it's a nice chance to reflect upon all the hard work that you guys have done this quarter and really think about how you're going to use that work in your practice and bring it to life and make it real. And showcase your hard work and showcase yourself and show what you've done. And I'm looking forward to seeing how you think about that in new ways. And if you have any questions about the assignment, of course, feel free to email me, drop me a line, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Okay, good luck and have fun.